let's quit the game here, finally. Guys, that was Roze Blud, but dude, I have a question.
Sure.
Here's my question. Would it be possible for, if it's impossible, let me know. We can just talk about the game as well. But if you're comfortable with like Discord screen share, I would love to see like some of the assets for the game. I'd be curious to see like some of the files and stuff.
100%. Yeah, I can do that. That sounds fun.
Let's do it that way. So I think I'm actually on, maybe not already in there yet. I'm not in there yet. Let's get on Discord then as my second account here.
So I would then go into the Discord here and then hit share your screen.
Exactly.
Sure thing.
So Mondo says it plays slow. It's a Metal Gear Solid like, but fast paced. It's like Hotline Miami online. Yes, yeah, isn't it so sick? Like Hotline Miami, right? Like we mentioned at the start of the stream, I think before we started recording for YouTube, that this idea of a top-down multiplayer twin stick shooter is so obvious, but I can't think of any other top-down multiplayer twin stick shooter. And it plays like you would hope. It plays like Hotline Miami, but multiplayer. And because there's another human being there, it's just a whole element of psychology that goes into it, right? It's like a much more psychological experience. Let me see if I can jump in here with Vencabot and watch this live stream. Dude, this is a dream come true.
I'll pull up the 3D and the 2D project. Probably the 3D one. Well, I mean, either of them could be potentially interesting, actually. So, fortunately, it's pretty easy with Unity to have two instances running.
So because the
I'm firing up the 3D one first.
Gotcha. So because you're sharing a window on Discord, I can only see if you have that window open, like it's not minimized. But if you're not really familiar with Discord, maybe you are totally. If you go to the next screen over when you screen share, you can share your whole screen, which makes things a little bit easier.
Let me go ahead and hit share my screen again, and I'm going to do change windows.
There we go.
I'm going to just stop streaming, just to make this easy.
Yeah, I would see how for privacy reasons, maybe
applications and screens. So I'm going to pick screen.
Yeah, don't show nothing you don't want to see though.
720. Yeah, exactly. I did double check. I'm going to minimize the Discord, but it shouldn't be anything.
Gotcha.
You can probably see Unity right now.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks beautiful.
This is actually funny. So right now, this is in a weird state where my friend and I, before we finished making the intro video, he was thinking about making a map in the beginning that was kind of reminiscent of Escape from New York, and I found a wireframe shader that basically took all the assets I have, kind of like as if you were doing a night vision scan of the place. So, but that's not really normal. And so we're going to go ahead and transition back to the thing. CD.
Note plus Note LePew says here, votebrass.exe. It's a great film, right? Mondo Cooldown. Again, you kind of see that inspiration visually when you play the game as well. It's got that hyper 80s, the hyper 80s grunge to it.
Yep, for sure. I'm going to go ahead and stash this. We'll go back to the normal state. This will probably take a moment to load.
So I have no experience with Unity at all. So this is interesting for me to see. I've seen tutorials, of course, but it's interesting to even see like the way you have your files structured and everything all laid out.
Yeah, no. So like this is like when we were making the 3D intro video. So these are all the different objects. I wish I could make this mouse go a little faster. Yeah. There we go. So you have all these different objects, and what we ended up doing, what I ended up doing really was like you took each one of them and you wrote a script to basically photograph it, and I would alter the degree of sunlight and the angle at which I was doing the digital, the sort of virtual photography, if you will. And but you can also put them all together like this, and this is how we created the environments for the intro video.
Yes, I recognize 3D. It, right? It's where all the characters are posing and stuff.
And you have all these different objects, like here's the lockers, here's some of the crates. And what Taylor was so amazing about, he's the 3D artist that gave me all these assets that I hired. Pretty much the only person I really hired. I think otherwise it was really just collaboration with friends who, if we do well, they'll all be taken care of. But, the only person I really hired outside who isn't just going to get royalties or whatever shared is Taylor, who's just a genius, and he would provide me this stuff. Where what's beautiful about these sort of things is like he made it very modular. I actually don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to Unity 3D.
Right.
I'm just kind of messing around here. But like, let's try to find something to play with.
Yeah, because you developed the game, but the game itself is 2D. I see. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And so we made 2D assets out of these 3D environments, and that's something I didn't know how to do. And it was actually funny. I originally hired him just for an hour to kind of tell me how to make 3D stuff, and he spent a bunch of time talking. I took all these notes, and at the end, I determined that I would need to hire someone to do it because there's no way I'm learning all this stuff. And so like, yeah, here's chunk. I guess he's thinking this is pretty chunky right here.
Hmm.
But you know, you can change the different colors. You see that? Oh,
Oh
so
yeah,
this,
wow.
you know, this makes part of what I did when I made my specifications of what I wanted from him was I tried to make sure that it would be insanely modular without, you know, obviously taking him too much time to build,
Right.
because I wanted to get the most out of my money so I could make a ton of tiles. And,
Very
you know,
smart, dude.
honestly,
Very smart.
I could keep taking these and keep modifying them. One of the things we were talking about was the randomization with these rocks here too. There's 4 different versions of them. Same thing with the concrete walls. And so when you load the game, it randomly picks one of the 4. So the layout of the maps always have like different, almost like different, like there's only 4 they can pick from, but the textures look varied
Yeah.
because you're just kind of flipping between them.
Right. So
And this
sick.
is the, I'm pulling up the 2D project as well.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see that as well.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't
But yeah,
mind
so
at
this
some
is,
point seeing the YAML and getting walked through how these stages are laid
oh
out in
yeah,
terms of the text files.
for sure. Well, actually, yeah, we can take a look at that once the 2D comes up. Um, But yeah, I don't know what in terms of the 3D projects, maybe we can open up another one to take a look at some of the different things.
Yeah, Note LePew says maybe we should delete that buggy computer while we're here, right? That one that got my guy stuck against that wall.
Oh
But
yeah, right.
that would be like in the
Actually,
YAML, right? That would be an
that would
actual.
actually be an interesting. That might be an interesting exercise, actually. I mean, not to go through the full motions of committing the code and whatnot, but to
Right, right,
show you kind
exactly,
of
yeah.
like where it exists.
Well, how
I'll
you
probably
edit
be
stages,
doing
basically, how you would edit a
a little bit
stage.
of refresher myself. We'll pull up one more 3D thing, and then we can look at the 2D
Gotcha.
if that sounds good to you.
Having a great time, dog. I'm here along for the ride, dude. I find this all
Let's
very
do it.
fascinating.
Yeah, let's say, you know, this is even maybe fun to play one of these. So like if you hit it, so I have this scripted,
Hmm.
I use this thing called Cinemachine, which apparently won an Emmy or something. It was used for some TV show for like animation, but it allows you to, without having to write any code necessarily, do a lot of, you know, good following with the camera,
Hmm.
panning and rotating. Because that type of thing, I actually tried to write it by hand before I really wanted to. I was like, oh, I don't want to learn this new thing, Cinemachine. I'm going to try to write. And it's really awful to try to make cameras move fluidly
Yeah, I'll bet.
by hand. It really should be done with graphical tools, was what I ended up finding out. And so, yeah, you'll see like this camera where we got it. Click like here. What you end up getting is like you can, in some of the cases, actually, for some of them, it just like pans around the whole room. I'll show you like this one. Just load this up.
Yeah, Mondo says he's a little bit fucking drunk, 3 beers in, cross-eyed, but fascinated. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Mondo. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. It's kind
So
of
you
an
see it'll
unusual
like
stream for us.
move around here. And so, yeah, and if you look in the scene, this is like the dolly track. So like if you've ever done any audio editing with like a graphical EQ, this is
Hmm.
like really similar type of thing where maybe I want the camera to start here, and then you'll see then it automatically gets these nice, I don't know. I'm really bad at geometry. There's like all this cosine and sine. Like you don't want to calculate that shit.
Right.
Like just let the editor
Yeah, the built-in curves,
do
yeah.
the building curves. Yeah, it's nice.
With a few, like, I
Um,
see little keyframes there, little key spots where it'll kind of level out or,
yeah, these are the waypoints. I was trying to do this by hand. Oh yeah, don't do that. You just move the little knobs. It's real nice.
awesome. Super, super awesome.
Um, yeah, take a look at the 2D here. So this is the 2D project. Um, and so some of the stuff is like kind of like internal only, meaning like it doesn't even get sent and packaged up in the game, but like for like building levels,
Hmm.
for instance. And so yeah, it's been a second here. Let's take a look. So like we have this builder, and right here it's in write file mode. So this both
Gotcha.
writes and loads files and whatever file name it might be there, which I believe I have in as prefabs, maybe somewhere.
These are pretty cool files there, like player files. Is that where you're going to hide sprites and stuff in the player files? Or is that where we have, like, character data?
Yeah, let's look at the sprites. The sprites are right here,
Sick.
and probably some of the more interesting ones are the characters.
Yes.
So yeah, with each direction, so everybody has 55 animations. So
Okay.
it took me 6 months to make all the characters.
I'm not
Which
surprised. That sounds like a
was
huge
kind of,
undertaking.
yeah, it was insane. A lot of repetitive work, but that's why I used a lot of scripting to kind of help me with some of that stuff. But so you know, it's just a flip book of images here.
Oh, right. For every direction. Oh, I see. Every direction you're facing, they have to have their feet move too. Oh, I didn't think about that, dude. This goes to
Yeah,
show if you're
yeah,
not a game dev, your mind don't really go there.
yeah. But this is tough. And one of my friends, she's like, doesn't yeah, she's got like back problems, and like doing this while running in place while keeping a gun centered
Dude, it's got to
is
be fucking hard.
insanely complicated. Yeah, yeah. And I think, for the guys, we, you know, generals or whatever. I don't know. We played a lot of army or whatever growing up, so it's a lot easier for us
Yeah, maybe.
having, ran around with guns or whatever. But I think everybody gave it their best. And sometimes in cases of both the guys and the girls, I'd have to correct the feet. Like I'd take a foot that looked better in another one. But generally, I tried to avoid doing that type of stuff. And hopefully, it just got good takes. So we either took the best takes we could get, or we'd kind of patch it in. I'd just like, chop off a foot from another one. I did some Frankensteining at
Oh,
times.
sick. That's super sick. Yeah, Brian points
Well,
out that in Dragon Warrior, we're playing this game in Dragon Warrior on NES lately. In that game, when you are walking sideways, because it's such a low res game, they couldn't think of how to animate his feet going that way because it's such a small sprite. So they just had his
right.
feet keep going forward while his body turns sideways. So you're walking sideways, but his feet are still like facing the camera. It's so weird looking, but it's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, to
That
compare
was
that.
that
Yeah.
was that was one way we could have handled it, but it would have looked awkward.
Oh,
So
for
I
sure. Yeah, it's kind of
and
funny
at
that
one
that's
point,
that's an issue with like sprites and being low res. But in this case, it's a much more practical issue of it being digitized. You're actually having people physically having to turn their bodies while running a different kind of way. That can actually be very hard to like balance, right? Very hard to balance.
really hard. Yeah, I know. And a lot of times people would end up veering off course from the center of where we were trying to ground them, because we had basically a target on the ground. If you ever seen Mortal Kombat 3, the making of, or any of these, they have a similar thing where they basically put a piece of tape down
Yes.
where the person's supposed to stay centered. Um, and yeah, no, it was really challenging. But if you can actually, what I thought beforehand, I was like, well, what if it's the future and they were floating to get around this problem? And
Yeah.
I actually briefly was looking into suspension, but I just didn't. I don't know. People, my friend was like, "Oh, I think I know these people who do like trapeze art. They might like know." And it
Oh
was just
no.
like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh
This
no.
is probably gonna be. But what it would have made it incredibly simple, because then they would have just been floating with their gravity boots, and I could have done away with all this issue of the weird running. But instead, one night, late night, I thought, okay, I think if you, I kind of stood in front of my mirror and was acting it out with the basically aiming the gun over your back while running the other way. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, it can be done, but it was challenging.
Yeah, for sure. I can imagine. And again, the people you hired were friends of yours. They're not really like they're not like mocap artists, right? They're not like they're not exactly freaking pro athletes.
No, 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 exactly, no. And like that's why I sent like a video out beforehand of myself doing all of it,
Okay,
so
just
they
to show
like
how
could
it's kind of done, basically.
study it a little bit. Yeah, because we did it all in one day. I mean, we filmed my part independently, because I wanted to be running, like basically playing director during
Right? Makes sense.
um during that time. And so, but we managed to do everybody in the same day. And we did it ahead of schedule. And I think it's because like, I failed at one point too, as an interesting tidbit. We did my character real early on. And I made the assumption that diagonal should be, I don't know, what is it like? So there's like 180, 90 degrees, and then 45, I guess, is what I
Yeah.
thought diagonal should be. It's not. It's actually like 70. Otherwise, it looks totally bogus. And so we did the whole process, and I went home and I was like, oh, it just doesn't work. And but thank God we just started with myself, because can you imagine having committed to a whole day, 6 friends? Some people were coming from out of town, and it would have been awful. But
Very
thankfully, I
smart, dude.
made that
Very
mistake
smart.
early on, and we
Preparation,
saved
dude.
saved
Saves the
it.
day.
Yeah.
So Mondo in the chat asks here, this might be a noob question, but would using normal maps to sprites be a good idea or actually slow the development to a crawl? Because I was at a game jam once, like 10 years ago, and we wanted normal maps, but I was so fucking... What do you mean normal maps, Mondo cooldown?
I
What
think
qualifies as a
it's
normal
like
map?
is that like a lighting concept? It's like the normal map is like there's different layers. If I'm understanding the question correctly, there's like with 3D art and even 2D art, you can have like a normal map, and it's like not just the sprite itself, but then 3D programs will generate like 6 different versions of the same thing for the skin, sort of. And it's like 6 different PNGs. One is focused on reflection, one is focused on texture, and one of them is called the normal map, I think,
Maybe.
if I do understand that correctly.
So it's like it's 2D, but it's like pseudo 3D, like Paper Mario 2 for GameCube. I think maybe what Mondo is saying is that maybe he's asking, would it have been faster to make the game in 3D, like with a 3D engine, but with 2D sprites? Or was it...
Oh, yeah, that could have been interesting. I just didn't have the experience with it. Because yeah, I get what you're saying now, right? Like, what if we took this game? What if we took this 3D environment and then just fix the camera in
Yeah,
place.
and digitize all the
Sort
graphics
of.
like with sprites.
Yeah, 100%. And that's actually kind of what we were doing a little bit with the intro video, where I was putting 2D actor sprites. And I thought it would be interesting to make. You could make like a Doom mod, and
Yeah,
just throw my characters in it. If anybody ever wanted to do that, or if I got to it. But
dude,
yeah,
Roze
no, I
Blud
don't
too,
think
dog. Rose
that's
Bludder.
that's not a bad concept. It could have been done that way, I guess. Long story short.
Yeah, it would have looked probably quite a bit different, but it probably wouldn't have looked bad. It would have looked, pretty cool probably.
Yeah. No,
Interesting,
that
interesting
actually that
stuff.
actually probably would have looked really cool. This is the
There's a
no tell
computer.
us talking about the computer. Yeah, this is the offending computer.
Well,
Right.
can we
So
figure out maybe what's causing the issue? Is it because of the amount of space between the computer and the wall there?
I can't understand how you would have gotten in and not been able to get out, to be honest. Oh, maybe it was something here?
I
We
don't know.
could try. What I could do right now is play that level in the editor, and then we could.
Can you do that? Can you
Actually,
play it in
let's
the
do that.
editor?
That could be interesting. Oh yeah, for sure. So
I'm
let's
excited, man. Yeah, Mondo says live debugging. I'm here for this, dude. That's why I want to
yeah,
see you.
let's do it. This will be fun. So
Let's
I'm gonna
figure out what the hell's
start
going
with
on here, if
the
we can.
startup here.
For all we know, it could have been a totally one in a million thing we're never gonna be able to replicate.
Yeah, I know,
but
right? Absolutely.
I bet you it's something that's probably
I'm
not too
definitely
hard to replicate.
curious now.
It wasn't very hard. I just ran in there and just got stuck.
Yeah, no, let's see if we can do it.
Yes.
Just gonna turn down the volume here.
And Note LaPue says just replace it with some kind of Vote Brass wall TV. Yeah, for sure. But I'm just thinking, from my own curiosity, I'd love to see, if we can figure out why it would be that I would have gotten in there in the
Yeah.
first place and not be able to get out.
Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can replicate it. It takes a little bit longer to load in the editor, especially Unity does a lot of caching, which I haven't opened this project in a while. Fortunately, I've just been playing Third Strike for like the past 3 months. I basically got the game done early, settled on the release date, and I've just been big chilling
Dude, I
because it's
respect
been 3 years of hard work. So
Well, I
it's
know
been
you've
a
been
while since
focusing
I
on
opened this thing.
promotion as well. I've seen you on Discord. I've seen you on Twitter. I know you're doing work trying to get people make them aware of this game. I think it was pretty fortunate, perhaps, that you were able to kind of get finished with the game's development ahead of schedule, so they had time to kind of work on the pre-launch kind of promo stuff.
So yeah, I guess we'll do start game. Yep. And then actually, what stage was that? I don't even remember.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. Dick says here, leave it in so I can get stuck and leave a bad Steam review, huh? That's one of the things you
Yeah,
can do.
right. I'm dying for bad Steam reviews. I can't wait for those. Let's just go ahead and play around until we get. I think it must be a research one if it has a computer. Generally, I think only the research ones have computers, if I recall correctly. Not this one.
Yay.
I'm also going to switch the video mode to dual screen so we don't have to see the split. We'll be able to see it more
Gotcha.
closely. So
Does dual screen work if you don't have dual screens? Out of curiosity, it seems like a really
yeah,
edge
it'll
case.
run. You just won't
Obviously,
see. You only see one screen.
yeah, I think I got curious about that because I don't have
Yeah, and
dual
I learned
screens.
about dual screen from doing art installations with Unity, and then it occurred to me that if I can do multi monitors with for an art project, why not for a game? So that got me thinking.
Yeah, super smart, super smart. Brian says, I can't believe a Dudley player made this. What does that mean, Brian?
Dang.
What does that
Is this
mean?
anti-Dudley
It was
bias?
a fully lit stage. It was a fully lit stage for sure.
Yep. That's not this one.
Yeah, Mountain says you need brass balls as a developer to show your editor and live debugging issue, dude. I'm putting Drew on the spot, dude. I could
Yeah,
have
no, we're
I could have
doing
been
it.
merciful and been like, yeah, let's just forget about it. But I want to see how this works
I
for
just
my own
gotta remember
satisfaction.
what the damn level is, though. That'll be the biggest challenge.
Oh, we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it.
We're gonna
Got
find it.
plenty
We'll
of
just
time,
go through
dude.
all of them.
I'm just chilling.
This was a choice of mine to make these levels just like cardinal directions, and then they're like not the most memorable titles. I guess I've been like reflecting on that decision, and here we
Yeah, I
are.
see what you mean. Yeah, like the north, south, east, west thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, South is my favorite, of course. Like hopefully, it was. So we did the storages.
I think we done did dude every stage. This is
Here
it
it
right
is.
here. Right up
All
there.
right.
Yeah, run up in there. Boom. See, I got in there. I got into that spot, but you can't. Like it's just,
So now there is an aspect of now you were the host.
I was the host. Yeah.
However, even if you are the host, there is some level of like positional correction going on between the the host and the client. So
Mhm.
like my version of you may like it's I forget what the concept is that Mirror has and a lot of NetPlay has, where it's like essentially rectifying differences in position, and it'll kind of correct your position
Right.
accordingly, very very subtly. So it's possible that you were pushed up there by like the positional correction, because this
Maybe.
is the smallest character. This, you used Veto, but it's no different with Scrap,
Right.
and I have no idea how you got in there.
Yeah, I just ran it at an
Maybe
angle. I ran it for sure in an angle. It
in
wasn't
an
along the wall.
angle, that
Yeah,
could have
like
been
that.
it.
I
But
ran
I'm
just like
having.
that kind of, but
Oh
oh
wait,
wait, there
I
you
did
go.
it.
You're in there.
I did it. Okay, cool.
So it's
Now we
not
can
net play.
see. Not net play. Nope. So sometimes I speculate, obviously, and
Oh, well,
I'm
for sure you
totally
have
wrong.
to.
So
You absolutely have to.
that's part of the. It's a bad habit of programmers. Where are we? Oh yeah, this is like the UI is like giant, and here's
Oh,
the
that's
level.
is
So
it? What do you mean the DUI? What? The game
I
is in the
actually
background?
no. There's like this is the scene view. It's not the same as the
Oh, okay, okay. I'm
game.
about to say. I was about to
Yeah.
say.
Right. Let's see here. Okay, so you got multiple hitboxes just to make things even more complicated. Oh, the other thing is too, I wonder if we'll be able to see. Okay, so we got the level holder. All right, we got some hitboxes. Okay, so yeah, it looks like her fat hitbox like is the obstacle collider, and it looks like that got jammed up here
So she
in
got where she wasn't supposed to
between.
be.
Yeah. How the hell did that happen? That's incredible.
When you
I mean, it
move,
must just be like just perfectly sized so that happens. And yeah, you can't get out now once you're in. Woo, look at her go.
I wonder if when you're moving, is there some kind of like sub, like I'm not sure what the smallest unit for the hitbox is, but maybe like when you're moving in such a way that like there's rounding going on with your hitbox, your collision
Unity
hitbox.
definitely does some. I mean, it's also all this math is like float based, and so if you're familiar, like that shit's like really dirty and like not precise, imprecise, I
Right.
should say. And that imprecision, this it's also being used for like physics, for everything really. It's all like float based calculations, and so there can be some imprecision. The other thing too is, and I preserved this to kind of keep it more like Doom. If you're moving diagonal, it's actually faster
Yeah, I
than
noticed that.
going north or south,
Yeah, it
because you're
feels really
going
good.
like two directions at the same time. So that may have played into it,
Yeah,
but
I
I don't
wonder
know.
if that
Again,
could
I'm
be
I'm just
it.
speculating now. I actually apparently don't even know what's going on. So
Maybe you're moving so fast that you skip through where it would normally collide in for a frame. Kind of like how in Third Strike when you're playing as Chun, right? You can kind of dash through certain things because it's calculating positions kind of coarsely, like in terms of like how often it does it.
right,
But
right, that's true. Yeah, or like in Mario with the speed running, like you can just go through walls,
well,
but
that's
it's like
what Brian's in the
insanely
chat,
hard.
right? He says maybe players will learn a certain movement sequence to get in there and then clip through the wall. Yeah, that they could fucking be a
You never
fucking
know. I mean, I've seen so many amazing speedrunners do game breaking things that I'd be curious to see. And especially I think when a lot of times, like I think, especially for 3D games that become popular, when people find out it's made with Unity, they start like licking their chops, because like a lot of the same tricks work with the engine.
oh, okay.
Even if the game may be very different game to game, the engine's the same. Some of
I
the
gotcha.
speedrunning tricks I think can be the same.
So Mondo has a pretty cool idea in the chat here. He says instead of removing the computer, is there a way that we can just put like a hitbox, a hurt box there, like a hitbox there to collide with, like fill that spot so nobody can like squeeze in there, like an invisible object basically.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Um, there's no reason you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But then that actually that kind of goes into the blood file thing. But then you'd be adding these. You'd have to add these objects to not only your level, but then it would end up in the level
Ooh,
file.
that reminds me. Can we look at the fucking YAML?
Yeah, let's look at it. Yeah, let's look at that. So yeah, you see the whole layout here, and if you look at we got this resources folder. So here's all the different levels. We were looking at that one. And you can see the layout,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see here is all this data, whatever, right? So
Right.
this is what gets generated from the files, and I basically made a piece of translation code to go between the two of them. But then in both the build and obviously in the project here, so you'll have a streaming assets folder and then blood files, and then like this is detention central. So it's YAML, but I of course needed to change the extension, because once I learned that extensions are just made up, I thought this should definitely be a blood
Oh, for
file,
sure, a blood
not a
file.
YAML
Yeah.
file. And I was inspired by the WAD files of Doom. That was what really did it for me.
Okay.
But so there's a song name associated with each level, and then there's just an array of tiles, and these tile names are just enums that I use in Unity
Mm-hmm.
or in C Sharp, and I made up my own object called the coordinate because Unity's Vector 2 had too much data. It
Right.
wasn't just an X and Y; it was all this other shit that I
You
didn't
don't
care
need, yeah.
about. So a chord is a object I invented that's just and two integers, an x and y, and so each enum or object here has a set of coordinates, and it's just literally positional based. So you could go in once you get the game, and you can change this to 144. Hopefully one day we'll have a real level editor, but there's nothing stopping anybody from day one fucking around.
Well, I see that each of
Um,
these objects has quite a lot of X and Y's. Where do all these X and Y's? I think it only have one in, like one pair, right? I would think for like upper left corner. Why so many?
well, or this is so for every square crate in the game.
Oh, so they're organized. I see. They're organized not
This is
per
this
square
dash.
crate. Okay.
Yeah, this dash means a new one. So like if I wanted to add another square crate to this level, I could just do this.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Sick. That makes
So yeah,
sense.
it's just set of coordinates and then um yeah, it gets into some other stuff like tile anchor. This is basically because like not everything always gets laid out perfectly, so you might
Hmm.
want to like change its offset, some other things. But for the most part, it's really you can just kind of copy paste
Oh, so the
and
tile
you
anchor
can
is like, would that affect like all the coordinates? I would presume. Like that's how you move like the actual sprite around, or
yeah, I forget. Let's see. Let's take a look actually, because honestly, I'm kind of like
yeah, what
speculating.
is
It's
the
been a
tile anchor?
while. What does tile anchor do here? So like computer terminal left off. That's these ones, right? So
Hmm.
if we were to change the tile anchor to 0.3, it's like these sort of like micro adjustments. You see?
Yeah, I see, and it seems to affect more than one of the like sprites.
All of them, yeah. These
All of
these are
them,
all grouped by the same. The way
just
the
like in the
Unity
YAML.
editor works, they're all kind of grouped. One thing I considered honestly was just releasing the level editor as basically like a Unity project. I mean, it's a little. I'd much rather something clean where you didn't have to learn Unity.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't really necessarily have to, but yeah, you could just kind of get in with it right now. But yeah, you can see it's basically just like an offset of sorts. Um, and
I
then
see.
yeah, what else? I mean, the other thing. Oh, then there's like you can get there's some interesting things with like the lights. These are the oil drum positions, the night vision positions, the spawn points. And then like with the lights, actually, you can get into the intensity of the light, the range, and the color. So you can have colored
Oh,
lighting.
cool. So Amanda points out that you can actually fix that computer wall bug by it's offsetting those computers by like a fraction of a pixel, probably to the to the left, like a unit.
Yeah, you're
That'd be
probably
one way to
right.
do it,
Actually,
but that would affect
we
all the
could do
computers in the
that.
stage.
Maybe we could. Should we try that out right now for
Let's fucking
fun?
try it and see if it works. Bet you it'll work.
All right, now we're gonna have to actually remember what the fuck this place is called.
But the downside would be that it could potentially cause other bugs elsewhere. Because again, it moves all the computers right over to the left, so it might
That's
cause a
true.
similar problem on the right side for all we know.
That's true. Or we could just move the position. But I'm not. We're just gonna experiment for
They're just
today.
goofing off here. So
So
Mono says
yeah,
maybe create a debug object that just creates an invisible collision. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I would do, Mono, personally. But of course, Drew's gonna solve it his own way. But I'm thinking I would just
and you
fill
can
that spot with
confuse.
like an invisible something. That I would do, just like a little like a little something to put in that spot. So you can't squeeze your way in there. That way you can leave the computer. 'Cause I kind of feel like removing the PC. It's kind of symmetrical there with one little PC on each on each wall. Actually, you want to remove the PC. Probably some other way you can solve it though. Exactly, Note LePew. Yeah, I found a glitch clip to
Terminal.
Detention Central. How sick would that be, dude? Just go to a whole different stage. That'd be godlike.
Let's see. So if we do point, we do 3. I'm trying to get it to yeah, like -3, and then this side presumably wouldn't be too bad. So
Maybe
yeah,
she
we're
could get in and
changing
out of
this
it, right?
tile anchor to -3,
Hmm.
and that's on Research East. Let's make sure that tile anchor is even, because not all of them expose the tile anchor. Let's see. So that kind of object also we have to take note of what that was. I think it's computer terminal off, and we're looking for the tile anchor on Research East.
I just had a crazy idea. What happens if I change my YAML for a stage and then we play net play? You wouldn't have the same
Yeah,
stage as
yeah,
I
yeah.
would.
I've no, so I've thought about this. That's true, and it would, yeah. So this game really has nothing in the way of cheat protection, which
Mm-hmm.
is why I, would, the best way to play
With the
is either
homies.
with a friend that you trust or in person if you're trying to be competitive.
Right.
But there's no cheat protection yet. One thing I was thinking was with the now we're getting real nerdy here.
Let's get real nerdy, dog.
If you take one of the level files, the blood file, you should be able to generate I don't know, like what, like a sort of a hash or some way to digest it into like a unique string to basically take the computer and translate that. And then if someone else does that, then both people could send their hash to each other. And if it doesn't match, it could send a warning saying, "Hey, I don't think you guys are playing on the same version of the level."
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm thinking.
Um,
I think because they're just plain text. Why not when you, well, again, it's maybe a little bit ambitious. I mean, you finished development here, but
Sure.
it's plain text. Maybe when you make a lobby and you choose a stage, you could just send the stage to the other guy. Just send him the
Absolutely.
stage. And
No,
then,
that's definitely a real goal of mine is and I think I looked it up and this is part of what I was looking at with Mirror, the networking library that I'm using. I think with the Steam transport I'm using, so it's going over so it's going through Steam's transport. We're getting deep here. But I think the limit is like 1 meg or something like that. And so these level files are significantly under the limit of what a message size can be.
right.
And so I think I could just compress it to a string and then send it over the wire.
Yeah.
And then the person could, you could store it to disk or not.
Yeah. Or just use it for that one session, right? Just use it while you're playing
Or
that one
just
guy.
session. Yeah, 100%. I just that's one of my to-do items.
Dude,
on my
Roze Blud 2.3, dude. Fucking the Little Big Planet of top-down arena shooters. Oh,
Yeah, that'd be
sharing
sick.
your
If you could
stages,
just connect with
dog.
someone, you could get the levels. Yeah, that'd be great.
Sharing your
And
stages, dog. Oh, that'd be sick.
yeah, that is nice. And kind of inspired by if you've played the newer net-oriented builds of Doom, there's what was Skull Tag is now Zandronum. They have this like Doom WAD seeker, and
Oh,
if you try to
cool.
connect to a server and you don't have the files yet, it will like spider through a bunch of well-known hosts
Yeah.
and try to download it for you automatically, which I
Sick.
was
That's
like,
dope. Dude, can
yeah.
you
So let's
imagine
see.
freaking, Roze Blud 2023 and just like how many stages there could be? Like, there'd be like a huge library of stages, man. That'd be fucking super cool. Then you get, like different like Discord groups got their own favorite stages. That'd be so
That's the
sick.
dream. That's the dream. I think we got a shot at it.
I for sure think you do, dude. For sure you do.
I don't know if this is actually gonna work, but we're gonna give it a
Let's
shot.
go
I
do a
don't even
college
know
try, dude.
what does a tile anchor look like out in the wild.
Oh yeah, it's true. We need to have at least one YAML that already has a tile anchor.
Yeah, and then it looks like they're all okay. Cool. It looks like
Okay.
this.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with YAML. I like JSON. I like XHTML or XML, but I like CSV. That being said, I'm kind of surprised that an empty object has the curly braces, but a populated one doesn't. That seems almost kind of interesting syntactically.
It's an artifact of the library I'm using. It's called it's like a C#
Oh, I
YAML
see. So
library.
it's
and
not
it
a YAML thing.
auto-generates these
Okay,
files.
I got you. It's not a YAML
And so in
thing.
some cases it just like does weird shit. Um, let's see. What was the name of that level again? It was Research East.
Welcome aboard, Connor. I'm joined on the mic by my friend Drew from New Hell Studios. We're talking about Roze Blud. We had a kick-ass time playing the game. Now, because I have plenty of time before the stream ends, I'm just having him basically demanding that he kind of show me around here. As someone who's really fascinated by game dev, it's great to kind of see his work and how this kind of operates behind the scenes. So he's got a screen share here, going through his project files, kind of talking shit, and as a sort of just as a set piece, we're using an example of a little bit of buggy geometry we found. Kind of see if we can resolve that problem here live, just for fun.
Yeah, through experimental means.
Yeah, we're trying to do a few different things here.
So -3 is what we had here, and then what was the y-axis? It was 0.5. Okay, so we went ahead and edited this. I wonder if it'll barf on me adding a tile anchor without it already having had one before.
I bet it'll be
really
fine.
don't know. But this is gonna be fun to fuck around here. So
I bet it'll be
and
fine.
can't forget it's Research East. We're gonna go there and try that out. So I've edited the file. I saved it. researcheast.blood, and that is in.
Well, this is the Steam apps version.
Oh yeah, no, I did the wrong one.
We have to launch the game, right? We can just launch the game if you want.
We have to do it from the level editor. We could do it actually. Yeah, let's But if there's an error, we won't be able to see the console.
Oh, okay,
So
I gotcha.
probably better to probably better also for me to make sure I don't fuck up my own game real quick here. But we'll take care of it later. Remind me to fix my actual version of the game.
Well, all you changed was just that one computer, right?
It's true.
It was just reinstall from Steam, probably, right? Even though you're the developer, I don't see why that wouldn't work.
That's true. Oh, yeah, just do that.
Just leave it reinstall it.
Research East dot blood.
I'm glad you made it out tonight, Mondo.
Give it a shot.
So Note LePew says here, I still think it was simpler to just add the Vote Brass TV on that corner. Also cool. I'm starting to see a trend in Note LePew. You need more of this fucking Vote Brass propaganda in the stages, I feel like. That's your motivation. Here we go. Okay. So it has moved, for sure. There's no way she's getting there now.
Here it is.
Now, if she goes on the right side, I think with that big gap, she'd be able to get in and get out, maybe both on the right. Like, she'd probably get in there, too. Oh, maybe not. Okay.
Because, well, there's the,
those
the wings
things.
of the pylon. Although you might be able to get in here, too. Let's see if we can break our way in. But no, yeah, that worked. Just adding the tile anchor like that. So you can edit it by hand.
Yeah, you can edit it by hand to kind of give it a little shimmy over. That's so much fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, said you could also, this guy fixed a bug Venk did live with no bug report, nothing, just, hey, fix this, bro. Okay, sure, so I'm saying it's that dope Mondo cooldown. What a guy. And Drew is a real fucking renaissance man, dude. He fucking did the programming for it, laying down all the maps and stuff. Jeez, Louise, over the course of 3 years. Oh, my God.
Kept me busy.
I can only imagine. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to figure out.
Funny, too. I didn't necessarily plan on doing online, and I was going to mostly stick to local and promote it locally, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, oh, shit, I better get this thing on the internet.
I'm so glad you did.
If I want this to work.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, last night, I'm testing the game, make sure it worked for the stream. I was like, dude, does this game, is it going to, so I know Drew's a one-man team. Is it going to have net play? Or we have to use Parsec? Like, what's this guy's idea for us to play it on stream? Like, Parsec would have worked. We could do Parsec split screen right now. But I'm not a huge fan of Parsec, so I'm glad you got like actual net play.
I don't know if I'm familiar.
You don't know Parsec? Oh my God. Parsec is the fucking, it's really popular right now, especially in the pandemic. It's a screen sharing application, but with gameplay as its main focus. So it's extremely latency focused, and it has built-in features so that if a client plugs in a USB controller, then it functions as a USB controller on the host machine. So basically,
nice.
I'd get Parsec running. We could start Roze Blud dual split screen, and then you would plug in your controller. It would be on it would act on my PC as a local USB controller, and we can play 2-player games like couch co-op, but over the internet. It's its main function.
Damn, that's really cool.
Yeah, so people use that for playing like I hate to say it, dude, and you're an FGC guy, but like MVC3, Marvel Capcom 3, it has notoriously terrible netcode. So the player base would rather use Parsec than use the game's built-in netcode. So with Parsec, depending on the distance, we were talking about, it can be like 4 or 5 frames of latency. So it's not perfect, but most have agreed that it's better than the game's built-in netcode. That's true as well for like Virtua Fighter 5 before we had Ultimate Showdown. People were playing that on Parsec as well. They use a PS3 emulator to play the game on PC, then use Parsec to do the netcode, rather than just play it on a real PS3 with the game's built-in netcode. But and yeah, I've friends that use that for like couch co-op, like beat 'em ups and things like that. I've used it before. Yeah. It's pretty good, honestly.
Steam has a thing that's similar to that. It's called Let's Play Together, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been an option. But dude, having played this game with you now for a few hours, I got to say that the built-in netcode, it's chef kiss, dude. It's really responsive, very fun. Good. I'm glad I don't fuck around with Parsec, dude. That's kind of scary.
Gotta give props to Mirror. And like I said, I mean, it was helpful for me to have read about all this stuff too, because I made some very conscious decisions about like what's happening on the client versus the server. So it even if there is latency, it at least looks like you're getting real-time response, and it doesn't feel like there's input lag, even though there is. Yeah, it felt great.
And I felt like it was, for what it is, accurate enough. I didn't feel like it was an unfair hits or any, killed by someone who shouldn't have killed me. It definitely felt super fair. Dick says he has a better solution, though. Turn on voice controls. Second person can just yell their inputs loud enough for the host system to hear it. Oh, that could work too, Dix. I put a mic
That's brilliant.
Put a speaker by the mic. Yeah, it'd be like yell it real loud in Discord. That could work too. Maybe said, let's compare this game to Fightcade, huh? The netcode, I mean, yeah. Yeah, so Drew
And
explains, uses like open source mirror-based netcode, right, if I'm not mistaken?
yep, yeah, Mirror is a open source free library for Unity, maintained by a really talented crew, and they have an amazingly active Discord with a lot of questions being answered. I've answered a bunch of questions myself. It just kind of
What you got to do, man.
inspires people. Plus, it's like if you want your questions to get answered, you got to
That's what I'm
get the
saying.
other guy's shit out of there. You know, you'd be like, oh no, don't worry, do this, get out of here. I need to ask my question now, and it's hopefully inspires people to kind of like help each other so that their shit can get
I never
answered
considered
too.
that before, right? I know that it's a part of the open source community, right? Kind of like you have to kind of contribute back to it if you can. But I never considered before that if you can get the easy questions out of the way, then yours might get more attention.
I
That's
definitely
true.
did that. I've definitely used that strategy before a
That's
few
true, dude.
times.
That's true. So Mondo says here, like I was like a good word of mouth thing because my friends could join on my PC on split screen, then convince them to get the standalone game. Oh, good idea, Mondo. Cool down. Yeah, Parsec is sick.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Parsec is pretty
Parsec is
sick.
good. Is that a commercial product or what is the
No,
deal?
it's totally free. It is proprietary though. It's not
Wow.
open source, but it is
Okay.
totally free. But
Very
yes,
cool.
Mondo's point was that it's a good way to get players using Roseblood. Using Roseblood as an example, players can use Parsec to try the game, without having to both own it. Right, it's a good way to
That's
sell the
very cool.
game. Yeah, that's kind of sick. Yeah, and
Yeah,
counter says here,
I wish
Sam
Steam
show.
allowed like for a two for deal. Like I'd really like to sell two copies at a discount, but I don't know if that's such a thing as far
I
as I
think
can
there
tell.
is such a thing, but I'm sure it's not very easy to figure out. Right? I'm sure that you
Yeah,
have to. I'm sure big publisher could probably figure it out and negotiate it with Steam and stuff. But I think I've seen that before. You guys might agree. There's like a bundle. People probably bundle two copies together somehow, maybe.
would be
But
so nice. I think that would be really good.
yeah, that would be pretty dope. Yeah, Dick says Steam does allow pack deals, and Mage says that Risk of Rain 2 did it. You can buy Risk of Rain 2 at a discount for two copies. Interesting, right?
Wow.
Look
All
into
right, I
that.
gotta look at that. I'm gonna make a note of that.
Yeah.
While I get these projects up, anything else I can show you, or how do you
Geez, I'm trying to think
how do you look it
of
up?
what in particular I really want to see, aside from, you know what I do want to see? I wouldn't mind if you would show us where the YAML files are, like give us a little bit of a walkthrough where they install on Steam.
Oh yeah, if you have the copy, if you have a copy yourself,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
sure.
And I do have a question as well about the song names in the YAML. That song
Mhm.
name, does that point to a song that's visible to the end user, or is that kind of like baked into the game itself in some capacity?
It's actually baked into the game, and I kind of went back and forth with it. Originally, it was a standalone file, um, but so I approached my friend who did the music,
Right.
and I said, one thing we can do um, is to like, you can sell the soundtrack, and he was like, no, I'm just gonna release it for free on Bandcamp anyway.
Okay, sick.
And so I said, fuck it, I don't want to make it any harder. So the song files are actually baked in. Um, that was originally I was kind of playing with having them be external, and then you could like even queue up your own song. But I
Exactly.
don't
That's
know.
why I asked.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think there is you can just kill the music and use
Of course.
probably
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
standalone player a little better. It was kind of I slashed that at the end, but I was playing around with that for a
Yeah,
little
it's worth
bit.
thinking about. Okay, so let's see
Yeah,
if you don't mind showing me like the file, Windows Explorer, and just kind of want to see where the files are at on Steam. And I kind of
yeah,
want to see like a picture of just. I'm kind of like a human readable text fetishist, and you must be as well to have implemented the YAML here. I would
yeah,
just
for
love to
sure.
see, the blood files all together there, and get a sense for. Oh, you know what we can do if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah,
Could
sure.
you copy a stage for me, and then like rename it, and can we see it in game? Because you
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
you can
for
like
sure.
add
Let's do
stages,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there's okay. Let's start from the top. So this is Rose Blood as it
Got it.
comes in Steam.
Right. Of course, in this
So
little
it's in your
Steam
Steam
folder.
library.
So yeah, I see
Uh,
Bleeding Edge, Roze Blud Data. Is that where the YAMLs are at?
Yep, yep. So
Excellent.
Roseblood data is where all the different data is kept,
Okay,
and
what we got in
then
here?
Unity
Managed.
has this standard folder called streaming
Oh,
assets,
okay, I see.
where that's their concept for things that live external to the I don't know, whatever like binaries they develop they jam in there. These things are like separate and kind of read as like a file system through
Mhm.
some sort of streaming technology. And this is your blood files folder, and this is all of them right here. Blood
Sick.
file. You got 9 of them, or actually, I guess 10 when you can. The tutorial is considered one as well. But there's a special rule for if it's got the word tutorial in it. Don't name if you decide to make a custom level. Basically, don't use the word tutorial because it won't see it.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. All right. So can we
Just
copy one of these
just
stages and rename it and see what we can do?
yeah. Let's do storage central. We'll call this Venka level.
Hey, it's my level, guys.
Yeah. And all right.
Here we go. Boot it up.
So let's go ahead and let's just like change like one thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. So this is also cool. If it has _R, so there's wall display 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the different kinds of wall displays. But if you put _R, it tells it to pick one of the ones at random. So that's
Oh,
why
okay.
each
Cool.
time you'll get a different one there.
Sick. So much fun.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not a very meaningful change. We'll change this to 105.
So Mondo says here, just crazy to hear a dev who is about to publish an indie on Steam. It's a crappy modder. It's like speaking to some celebrity. Is Steam too much of a dick, or is it like talking to a real human being or something? Says Mondo. Yeah, I've heard Steam is pretty good with working with devs. What do you think so far, Drew? How do you feel about
Yeah, I
Steam?
mean, I would say that the turnaround time for like review and having to work with, I mean, it's not like I've personally worked with anyone there, but it like the turnaround time was good, and like unlike what I've heard the experience where you're a developer for Apple, if you don't uh maybe there's a bug in your application, they'll
Mm-hmm.
say there's a bug in your application, you have to resubmit, and they won't give you any information
Oh
about
no.
where you failed.
Right.
Where with Steam, I launched the game, or I was gonna they've approved the store page, but they hadn't approved the build yet, so I sent them the build, and they said that if you want to say that you have full controller support, player 2 needs to be able to menu. And I'm like, awesome. Like
That makes life easy.
crystal clear, crystal
Yeah.
clear. And so I did it, and now I'm like, now all I have to do is click a button to release. They're happy with what I've sent them. So I felt that was really good. I will
Nice.
say, however, some of the back end tools that they provide
Yeah.
are kind of crusty.
Oh no.
Like for instance, they haven't really figured out like asynchronous web stuff like Ajax. Like that was invented in the late 90s.
Right. What?
So nowadays, when you delete, maybe you're deleting, you're on your, I don't know, Trello, or maybe like whatever, and you go and delete something, it doesn't reload the entire page. It just does it asynchronously. But with Steam, like if I want to delete a photo off of the store page, it's actually a full page resubmit. And so like the
Oh
entire,
no.
yeah, it's a little crazy. So some of that stuff is just, they just haven't bothered to update it. And
Interesting.
but overall it's been good, and I mean the accessibility is the big highlight of the platform. I mean, as long as you're not putting out malware, they'll pretty much publish anything, and like they have, huge reach, so like for a developer it's like kind of a no-brainer to publish with Steam.
Excellent. Let's boot up and check out Venka stage.
Yeah,
Venka
hopefully it
level.
works. It's been a second to
We'll
try
see if it
this.
works. So I realize now as well. You mentioned that there's like light colors and stuff in the YAML files. How do you specify a stage that is fully lit by default? Is that a separate flag?
Yeah, what is that? I think it's for the levels that if it doesn't declare it, it assumes that it's dark. But that was actually, so that was part of this. If you want to make a dark level light, it's extremely easy. All you have to do is add this one little one-liner. I forgot to mention that. Level material standard. So it's actually not really standard. Forget that weird name, but
Right.
actually let's make Venka's level standard. That way it'll be distinct.
Okay.
And so yeah, Venka level dot blood will be standard. Although I don't know, let me restart the
Yeah,
game
go ahead and
because I'm
restart
not
just in
sure. I
case.
think it might actually get loaded at runtime,
That'd be
but
kind of nice. Honestly, that'd be kind of nice that way. But who knows? Not a big deal either way. So Mondo says, first, man, the stream was great. Thank you, Mondo, for being here, dog. Second, thank you to Mr.
yeah,
Dev
thank you.
Guy. This is my friend Drew from first Fresh Hell Studios. That's New Hell Studios. I wishlisted the game. Third, I'm super drunk. Fourth, eventually Steam is going to be my platform, probably thanks for the valuable insight. Good stuff, Mondo. Good luck with that, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and if you're on Venka's Discord, feel free to reach out if you have any
Yeah, he's
questions
at
about this
Drew
type
on the
of
Vencabot
thing.
Discord. And join the Roze Blud Discord, guys. It's pretty cool over there.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. And you go to roseblud.com, you can join. Happy to have people. All right, so we're looking for Venka's level.
Venka level, yeah, let's see here. Is it there?
There
Hey,
it is.
wow,
Ooh,
sick.
Venka
You have the
level.
screenshot.
And
Where's
so I
that
think it
screenshot come
chooses
from?
the research look by default because there's 3 different themes. If it finds the word research, storage, or
Oh,
detention, it'll use that sprite.
I
But in
see. So
your
we
case,
could
it's
have
just
called
Venka
it. We could
level,
have called
which
it
is the default.
like research Venka stage, or like
Ah,
detention Venka stage to get the
I think
detention flag.
because it doesn't have, so this is a bug. If you don't use research, storage, or detention in it, you get a white
I
background.
gotcha.
So
Could be
I'll
worse.
log that one.
Could be a
My
lot
bad.
worse.
And yeah, and look, we
Whoa, it's
remember
all
this
lit
level,
up.
but not now it's fully lit.
Hey, that's super sick. Oh, that's godlike.
Yeah. So if you ever want to play any of the levels lit up,
Just change
this
that
is how
one
you do it.
line.
You just change that little file there. And
That's so
actually, in
sick.
the Discord, there's a channel specifically for blood file editing, and I have a pin post that kind of walks very, very short walkthrough, little tutorial thing. Not even really a tutorial. That'd be a glorified term
Right.
for it,
It's more
but
like a little guide or
it is
something.
there, and I'm gonna start to compile information there for people. I'm also kind of interested in maybe making like, I don't know, like those wikis that end up popping up for people who get really obsessive over the different stats and stuff. Maybe get ahead of the game and
Yeah,
have something like that for this game.
that makes sense. I used a wiki creator before. I forget what it was I used, but it was really easy to use. It was great. Maybe I'll look into it for you and
Awesome.
let you know.
Yeah,
But
that sounds great.
dude, Drew, thanks so much for being here tonight, dude. What an amazing stream. That was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Oh man, I had such a great time. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to play more games, and yeah, I don't know. I feel really pleased with this whole thing and really grateful that you had me on and that people got to check it out.
Dude, thanks for the offer, man. Guys, in the chat, please clap it up for Drew, guys. New Hell Studios, Roze Blud, February 2nd. I had an amazing time playing it, dude. I can't wait to freaking pick it up and play some of these more, maybe like a Friday event, dude, in the future. Like all the guys play
Yeah,
some Roze Blud. That could be cool.
100%. Maybe sometime like, like one of the first or second Fridays after their launch would be kind of cool.
Dude, that reminded me, dude, maybe like for Roze Blud 3.0, like spectating, dude. Spectating, that'd be
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
fucking
we've
sick, dude.
discussed. If you join the Discord, you'll see that was one of the last messages. I said spectate mode when myself to myself.
Oh, that'd be pretty fucking
So
fun.
I'm pressuring myself to get that one in. That would be really nice because yeah, it'd be nice to have that kind of like Fightcade.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, I realize now, seeing you play this right now, like Discord works great, right? Like, I can really see the game really well right now. If we were to run like events in the future on this channel, I could spectate through Discord and we could stream like Neon Riot versus Brian, right? That could be fun,
For sure. No,
dude.
definitely. Yeah, that would work well. And yeah, I'm really definitely interested in doing both in person and online events. And yeah, no, for people in New York, we're gonna have a launch party.
Oh,
So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's gonna be at Red Perry in Brooklyn. Shout out. Another great place to play a lot of fighting games. Really cool community. So check out Red Perry too in Brooklyn if you get a chance.
yeah, I can't wait.
Great
I've been seeing
place.
a lot of hype about that place. Didn't ever visit it when I was in New York, but I see that's where Shinebox plays. A bunch of other my friends play there, so it could be kind of cool that way. I can't
Yeah,
wait to check it out.
Shinebox. Shouts out to Shinebox.
Much love to
Who's
Shinebox,
also
guys.
a pretty good Roze Blud player
I'm
himself.
not surprised he loves
And
those shooting
was
games.
pushing teleport pads as a new feature, which I really like.
That would be
Really
pretty
want
sick.
that.
That would be pretty sick. But you know, I
Cool.
feel like personally, that's kind of a tangent. But with teleport pads, I kind of feel like maybe some of the game's already dark. Like, there's a darkness element to it. Maybe teleport pads might kind of convolute like tracking a little bit because it stands right now, like I mentioned before. If you see somebody's like foot go past the light, you kind of have to guess where they're going to be. I'm not sure that teleporting pads would be conducive to like, maybe it would just add more like unpredictability in a game that's already quite unpredictable. You know.
That's true, yeah. And, but I thought that if I were to do it, it would be like, I'd also be adding 3 new levels, and they're
Ah,
only
that
in
makes
those
sense. That
levels.
makes
So
sense.
it's like I wouldn't want to, affect the original levels.
And it'd
And
be
that's the same reason you can turn the light on these levels, but you can choose to go back to the old one.
yeah, and it'd be really cool. Come to think of it, on like a stage like this, it's all lit up. It would add another element of like movement where it's kind of like needed. That could be kind of fun too.
Yeah, true, true.
Good job. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mondo. Thank you, Neon, for being here, guys. Guys, one more time, thank you, Drew. I think I'm going
Yeah,
to peace out here and maybe make my own stage before I end the stream. Maybe like maybe play with some of the geometry a little bit, huh? That could be kind of fun too.
yeah,
Dude, Drew, thanks again, man. Peace out.
yeah.
Sleep
Thanks so
well.
much.
Good luck with the launch, homie.
Yeah, yeah. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye,
Dude,
everyone.
absolute
Enjoy.
pleasure, man. Peace out, dog.
Take care.
All right, guys, that was Roze Blud with Drew. I'm actually going to disconnect over here on the Vencabot side as well, so I'm going to see his desktop there. What a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much to Drew for coming out and being a co-commentator, for sharing his insights into the game.